Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Avowed today from Bears quarterback Justin Fields that he wants to return to playing like himself, freely and less robotic. That includes thinking less and going out there playing off instincts. His answer to why he's been playing too robotic could be coaching, but he did make it clear he's not blaming his coaches. No problem with Fields' honesty today for Coach Matt Eberflus.
The meeting we had this week was good. It was good. He expresses, what he would like. I express what he's doing well, what he needs to work on, and that's always going to be the case. And it was a good conversation. I just want him to speak free. I want him to speak free to us. I want him to be honest. I want him to be forthright with what he's saying. And then, can we work through this together to get him to play free and to have that flow.
A day after Giants coach Brian Daboll hinted that Saquon Barkley might play tomorrow night, the star running back has been ruled out against the 49ers due to that ankle injury. Panthers quarterback Bryce Young held out of today's walkthrough with an ankle injury. No word yet if he might miss Sunday's game against Seattle. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson and center Ryan Kelly, both in concussion protocol, did not practice today.
Summer Bonanza means more business in the fall months. Hire right with Indeed. Their integrated solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been this easy. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Well, it's hump day.
Hump day.
We got LSU-Arkansas preview.
It's hump day.
We got film study with Maddy Hudak in 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We're heading to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. The soon-to-be frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
It's hump day.
Bill Schmid covers the Packers.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He's here in 1 hour.
Hump day.
Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
It's hump day.
Pluckers trivia.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Overrated, underrated.
Hump day.
Urban Dictionary.
It's hump day.
A partridge in a pear tree.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's go. Let's get it. Feeling good? Hope y'all are as well on this gorgeous hump day in September. Let us begin as we do every single day here on AFR.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So we on Tuesday went pretty deep on the Greg Brooks story, but stopping short of telling the entire story. Left that for the Brooks family, which they elected to do on Tuesday night. You probably saw there was a post that the Brooks family put out on Tuesday night. I'll read it very, very briefly for you here. Greg Jr. was diagnosed last week with a large brain tumor that required emergency surgery. Doctors successfully performed the procedure Friday to remove the mass. We are awaiting biopsy results. We are grateful for the work and care of the medical staff helping Greg through these challenges and for the concern and love poured out by so many in the Louisiana, Arkansas, and national sports communities. This means the world to us at this difficult time. Greg continues to fight. We await further clarity on the extent of that battle. His incredible strength of character gives us confidence, but we also know that he needs our support now more than ever. Please keep Greg and our family in your prayers. So that is a message posted by the Brooks family on Tuesday evening. So if you were here on the show Tuesday, we kind of alluded to this a bit. And out of the very obvious and sensitive nature of the subject matter, was going to wait and let the Brooks family disclose it how and when they wanted. But what was very clear, as we discussed yesterday, is that not only is Greg Brooks's season very much in jeopardy, his football career is very much in jeopardy, and this is quite literally a matter of saving Greg Brooks's life right now. What I'm willing to say that now that the family has disclosed the crux of it, what I'm willing to say to add some detail around it is this. So during fall camp, Greg Brooks was having bouts with vertigo. That was reported. We knew that. And my understanding is that they knew at the time that it wasn't concussion related. Brooks didn't have any big hit or anything like that. He was becoming dizzy and nauseous and was vomiting. And he was treated for vertigo, and the symptoms subsided. And he returned to the field, and he played against Florida State, and he played against Grambling. And as I understand it, at halftime of the Grambling game, he had another episode where the vertigo, the dizziness, et cetera. So he did not play in the second half of the game against Grambling. And then as the week was progressing, leading into Mississippi State, there was another instance, and that's what on the SEC coaches teleconference Wednesday morning, Brian Kelly disclosed, kind of picking it up from that midweek episode that Greg Brooks had.
We were trying to find out what the symptoms were, and he had another episode. He had dizziness again on Thursday of actually I think it would have been Wednesday of last week. Finally, we said that enough's enough, and we got an MRI, and that's when the tumor was located. So the vertigo was just a symptom of what was obviously a larger issue.
So mid-late last week is when he had another episode, sent him in for the scan. They found the tumor. He went in for emergency surgery on Friday. That's why we learned that he was unavailable on Saturday. And then after the game, when you saw Brian Kelly in the post-game locker room awarding the game ball to Greg Brooks and his teammates chanting, you knew it was something more serious. And that's when some of this info kind of started to leak. But Saturday night, I had a pretty good handle on it. Certainly by the time we got to Monday, kind of knew the story. And Brian Kelly at his Monday presser said he wasn't going to disclose any. He was going to let the family do it as they wished. And I think that's 100% the right thing to do. It's such an interesting time because this happens as LSU's preparing to play Arkansas in September, the earliest the two teams have ever played. Typically, this is a November game. But the fact that this is happening right now, the week that LSU's playing Arkansas, and of course, Greg Brooks, who's from West Jeff, started his career and played 3 years at Arkansas, two of them under Sam Pittman in 2020 and 2021 before coming to LSU a year ago. Sam Pittman knows Greg Brooks very, very well. And Pittman on the SEC coaches teleconference mentioned he did get a chance to speak to Greg Brooks's family since the surgery.
Was able to talk to Mama on Monday, I guess it was, and we're just continuing to pray for him. But in a nutshell, and I mean this all my heart, he's a wonderful, wonderful kid. And that didn't change when he decided to go back to his home state of Louisiana. And we have prayed and will continue to pray every day for his health.
So it's a situation that very clearly is going to touch both coaching staffs, both teams. A lot of Arkansas players played with Greg Brooks during his 3 years there in Fayetteville. And then, of course, all the fans that'll be there in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Now, whenever we talk about things like this, I always kind of break it down in two. There's the very real, important, real-life scenario involved, and then there's the far less consequential football scenario. If you were not here on Tuesday, I did a full segment about what LSU's safety room is going to look like without Greg Brooks, because as we said on Tuesday, you have to proceed as if you're not going to have Greg Brooks for the remainder of the season. And I think now that should be pretty clear to everybody. You're not going to have Brooks this year, and as I understand it, there's a very real question to whether or not he will ever be able to play football again. That's certainly an unknown right now. But Brian Kelly, on the SEC Coaches Teleconference, in relaying a conversation that he had with Greg Brooks, Greg has a far more optimistic outlook.
That's so hard for me to even know, what there are so many unanswered questions. I don't even know that I could even begin to give you the medical pieces relative to the surgery to even give you an educated answer to that. I saw him in the hospital on Sunday. He's still coming out of, heavy sedation, so we weren't able to have a lucid conversation. But I know before he went in, he was pretty clear about playing again this year. But that's Greg Brooks.
And it's awesome to have that attitude, and I believe very much in the power of the mind and controlling your thoughts, controlling your mind, controlling your world, all that sort of stuff. So the fact that Greg Brooks is in that headspace is awesome. And everybody here, I know, is praying for him and pulling for him. And that is paramount to anything else. And I think every human understands that on a very human level. That is so much more consequential than anything related to football. Be that as it may, this is a sports show, and so in the context of the football season, LSU is going to proceed as if they're not going to have Greg Brooks the rest of the year. And that's the right thing to do. And this will be an interesting foray into how that looks without Greg Brooks. You already played Mississippi State without him. This is a different type of challenge stylistically with the offense Arkansas is going to run. And so when we're back here on Monday, we'll have a much better sense of what that secondary looks like without Greg Brooks. But most importantly is wait on the biopsy of the tumor. The hope certainly is that it is benign and that this is a speedy recovery for Greg Brooks. But as it goes along and when we find out more, we'll certainly pass it along to you as well. But, of course, in the meantime, all of our thoughts and prayers continue to be with Greg Brooks and his family. Okay, it's After Further Review. Our show open brought to you by Bud Light every single day. Drink easy in Louisiana. If you're going to be in Tiger Stadium, you can grab those great Bud Light aluminum bottles. They're gorgeous. If you haven't seen the design on them with the tiger eye, they got the LSU helmet with the purple and gold and white stripe on the back. There's a QR code that you can scan to get more info as well. If you're going to be in the Dome, well, not this weekend because the Saints are playing at Lambeau, but you can always get the Bud Light cans with the Saints logo on it. Official beer of the Saints, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, official beer of the Southern Jaguars. It is Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana this football season with Bud Light. All right, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Saints are 2-0. When we come back, our friend Maddy Hudak will be here. She'll put on her scout hat and do a little film breakdown for us. What did she see after combing through the game film on Monday Night Football with Saints and Panthers in particular? What do they do with that offensive line? We'll get to that with Maddy Hudak when we continue here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And, of course, it is worth mentioning that Greg Brooks is a member of the G team, and I know that our friends over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys have reached out and are certainly expressing their support and best wishes and certainly prayers for Greg Brooks and his family as Greg Brooks goes through his current battle. So, of course, we continue to keep the entire Brooks family in our thoughts and prayers, and certainly the team over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, exactly the same. Always encourage you to go check out Gordon on social media at Get Gordon. They did choose the winners of the Get Gordon Billboard contest. If you haven't seen it yet, you could check out all the winners. They really did a fantastic job. The first place was a Superman version of Gordon with Penny having a cape on there as well. Check it out. If you've been injured, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. Excited to welcome Maddy Hudak back to AFR. Do a little film study. Kind of a weird week. Of course, Saints played on Monday Night Football, so kind of the quick turnaround. But Maddy's good enough to jump aboard with us here, kind of recap, put a button on that Saints-Panthers game from Monday Night Football. Maddy, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't beep the phone this time now that I'm on video, so we're foolproof.
Well done right out the chute. I was thinking maybe that could be a good dismount at the end, but you beat me to it. Kudos to you. Well done. Hey, let me start with the thing that I think is everybody's biggest concern right now, and it's the offensive line. They've been bad 2 weeks in a row. Did you notice any improvement week 1 to week 2 at any of the spots?
I wouldn't say so much the spots. What I was noticing more than anything is it's not so much one player or two to call out. It's if if you look at the O-line kind of as an art, they're just kind of failing as a concerted unit to me. There was times where the left side would collapse. There were times where someone blew by Cesar Ruiz. Ryan Ramczyk had a couple of bad reps. Trevor Penning actually didn't do that badly. It just doesn't feel like they're creating much of a pocket there for Derek Carr quite yet. And that definitely affects the rhythm of the offense as a whole. But if nothing else, the running game, I think, improved massively in a lot of facets, including the way that they used all the players.
Okay, let's go there then. So we know the pass protection issues are legit and documented, but they actually ran the ball, and they ran the ball really largely without Jamal Williams. So it's a very good defensive front that you faced, just like the one you faced last week in Tennessee. So what was different? Why did the running game work this week as opposed to last week?
To me, I think a big component of it is Taysom Hill and the way that they actually used him in this game, having him throw a pass, hand off the ball, getting a toss pitched to him by Derek Carr, and then just having Adam Prentice out there as a blocker and using him more creatively on the plays that they were really just using Jamal Williams for exclusively in the first game. They ran 7 inside zone plays the first week, and they were all by Jamal Williams, and they had 2.4 yards per rush. This week, there was 4 of them split up evenly between all 4 running backs. And the same thing with the way that they ran between the tackles. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of would those carries have gone all to Jamal Williams had he remained in the game for the entire time. But if nothing else, I think you saw more potential in Tony Jones Jr. than you ever really saw in his time on the Saints at all.
What's the difference there with Tony Jones Jr.? Based on what you saw in camp or in years past, and then on Monday night?
It just didn't really seem like he had the instincts to see a hole and really shoot through it. And it felt like he was following his blockers and just making a lot quicker decisions back there. And I think the reasoning behind bringing him back, knowing that he knows this offense relatively well at this point, I think makes a difference. But I do at the same time think it was the usage that they had Taysom Hill out there handing him off the ball once or twice. And the defense has to account for Taysom Hill as is now in multiple facets. So having that kind of wrinkle in the game plan, I think opened up the running game. It just felt like all of the creativity was used on the running backs and wasn't really there with the passing game. And I think that's why you saw it suffer a little bit, but you can't get a passing game going without the run game. So it was good to see that improve in their usage and really spread out between all of those running backs.
She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. Give her a follow. Just a quick follow up there on the backs. I know Dennis Allen said they're not planning on bringing in another. I would love your thoughts on this, because if just as you map it out here, Kamara's not back for another week. We know that Jamal Williams is injured. So now you're basically down to Kendre Miller coming off an injury, Tony Jones Jr., and then I guess Taysom Hill. Like, is that enough at the running back spot, or should they go add somebody else?
I mean, honestly, yeah, as much as I just talked up Tony Jones Jr. and all of that, it's ultimately one game, and really the second half of it at that. The question, it will be interesting to see if he's able to sustain that at all. But if he isn't, then you're literally relying purely on who's your, third backup quarterback at this point in Taysom Hill, and teams are going to know that. And I don't think you really want to rely on, like you said, a rookie running back who's coming off of a hamstring injury, which always tends to make me a little antsy about getting them back out there, because it just takes one tweak and then you're sometimes back to worse than square one. So as much as they kind of went after a linebacker earlier in the offseason, I think that everyone thought a running back was just as important. And you just see its importance because, like you said, you don't have Alvin Kamara for 2 more games. You probably don't have Jamal Williams. And I think defenses eventually can contain Taysom Hill if they know it's the only thing going on back there, assuming Tony Jones Jr., has the ability to follow up or not.
Maddy, I'm going to stay on the offensive side. We'll go to the defense here in a second. What are you noticing? Obviously, a big part of the inefficiencies in the pass game is the pass rush, is the pressure on Derek Carr. But what are you noticing from Derek Carr with respect to timing and with his receivers 2 games into the season?
I think there's plays where you can see all the time he put in this offseason with guys like Michael Thomas. On the first completion of the game, on first look, it looks like he kind of threw the ball behind Michael Thomas. But if you go back and look how the safety was reacting, I think if he had thrown it to the inside rather than to the out, there could have been an interception there. And rather than just making a bad throw, it seems like he trusts Michael Thomas to make those real-time corrections. And you saw that work with Drew Brees. And I think that's why they really enjoyed their relationship together, because it was almost this silent communication in real time as plays were happening. And then that 42-yard reception by Chris Olave, I went back and counted. He's 30 yards away from where he catches the ball when Derek Carr releases that. And it's a pretty for a 42-yard throw, had a relatively good amount of touch on it. And so if you're able to make those throws, we saw what he was able to do with Rashid Shaheed last week and a little bit in this game. The potential on the plays that work is there more than I think it really has been the last 2 seasons, where I think Andy Dalton was an efficient operator at times. But if it came down to him having to win the game at the end, there was really not that much confidence in that. And I think ultimately you've now seen that Derek Carr can pull it together and get it done at the end and score points.
That's so interesting. So just the point about the deep ball to Olave. So Carr released it when Olave was 30 yards from where he caught it. So that's just a ton of trust in your receiver getting to the spot and timing there. It's a really good illustration. I didn't ask you to look at this, so I'm not sure if you did. If you didn't, that's fine. Did you happen to look closely at red zone personnel groups, play calling, kind of what continues to plague this team a little bit in their ability to convert touchdowns in the red zone as opposed to field goals?
I'd have to probably go back and look, but it just seems like, again, you have like a 3rd and short, and then they take out Taysom Hill, and it just seems kind of nonsensical in the way that they use him a lot of times. And then when it seems to be super obvious, and they go back to that, but it just seems like they're trying to be almost too complicated in the end zone. You're not really seeing them get the tight ends involved. And that's something we saw a lot more in training camp, especially when they were practicing red zone offense. And you assumed between the guys that they put out there. And I think it matters too that Taysom Hill essentially has not been a tight end at all. And so that room is really one guy thinner, and they haven't seemed to really utilize them, I think, as they should, when it doesn't seem to need to be that complicated. Like Jimmy Graham, to me, should have gotten one of those easy touchdowns in the red zone by now, but that's where I mean, where the play calling is just a little to me, and they don't have the talent on the O-line to be able to make up for it, but they definitely have the talent in the receiver group. And that's something also to be said about the Saints for however many last few seasons, where Marquez Callaway and Deontay Hardy were wide receiver 1 and 2 for the quarterback competition.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You have these two tight ends that are 6'7". Like, what are you doing? You don't have to your point, you don't have to complicate this. Like, throw it up to him. Let him go make a jump ball. All right, couple more for you. Maddy Hudak is with us on Twitter at MaddyHudak_94. Taking a look at some film review from Saints-Panthers on Monday Night Football. Hey, flip it over. The defensive front seven has been so good. And, Maddy, it was a big question because you replaced so much personnel really on the inside, and then obviously with Davenport as well, and now you're without Peyton Turner. What is working so well, and who is working so well in that defensive front seven?
Honestly, they really all are. I think you're seeing it the most in how much Cam Jordan is able to do, because defenses aren't just clamping him down and basically just letting the other guys go one-on-one, knowing that they're probably not going to get that far. And I honestly think that the personnel they brought in on the interior is really an upgrade from what they had. I think David Onyemata was better a season before his last one, but he had a little more rotation going on there, whereas Shai Tuttle, I don't think was ever intended to kind of be a starting defensive tackle for the Saints, and he just kind of fell in there by happenstance. But they had a lot of injuries there last year, and I just think that Carl Granderson has been the biggest standout to me. Yeah. He has 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 6 quarterback hits and a forced fumble in 2 games. I mean, that's a wild level of production, but you see Nathan Shepard on the interior, Kalen Saunders, Brian Breezy has, to me, really ascended in just 2 games. And so not having to only rely on Cam Jordan, and the fact that you lost Peyton Turner and no one really cares, not to be rude, but it's less that you hear all this frustration about Peyton Turner's durability because of what they're able to produce up there. And I mean, they made Bryce Young look like just an absolute rookie for the most part. And he did not seem to have that many rushing yards for their issues with mobile quarterbacks in the past.
You know what, Maddy, what's interesting, I'm glad you brought up Brzee, because Granderson has been the standout. He's about to get broke off too. I mean, that guy's on a 2-year, $5.2 million deal. He's about to get broke off, and good for him. But Brzee we talked about Brzee and Foskey so much in camp because, you know, I felt like I would ask you every day about those rookies. They made no impact. Now, Foskey dressed, and we didn't see. I mean, he almost blocked a punt. But defensively, I don't think we saw much from him. But Brzee, in both games now, has made his presence felt. That's a pretty – I don't know what other observation you have on Brzee, but that's a pretty dramatic swing from how ineffective he was in camp to what he's been able to do through 2 games of actual game time now.
I think there's 2 things. I just think, again, where how Cam Jordan is as a player. And so when they're going a little lighter, just by the nature of where their position is during training camp, I think you have a lot more to go off of. Whereas I think some guys just thrive on game time and get that kind of fire in them. And I definitely think you see that in Brzee, but he has speed and he has really good pass rush moves, and he's giant for his size to be able to move that fast. You can't coach those types of things up. So he has the natural traits there, but I just think within 2 games, the fact that he's gotten immediately up to play speed and is making really an impact when all you ask for essentially from your defensive tackles is to really shore up those blockers to allow your ends to get free. Well, he should have a forced fumble, if not for the holding call by Paulson Adebo. But I mean, if I was an opposing quarterback, I would honestly not want to face this Saints front four. And that's something that they really haven't been able to say for the last few seasons. And that comes all across interior and exterior.
Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield the next 2 weeks. I mean, this Saints defense should keep eating. She is Maddy Hudak. Follow her at Maddy Hudak _94. Of course, one of our great correspondents here. You can find herself at the Saints Wire. She's Tulane sideline reporter for the radio broadcast, host Before the Whistle podcast. I mean, when it's football, Maddy's everywhere during this time of year. I know you're busy. Always appreciate you taking a couple of minutes, and we'll look forward to doing it again next week.
Awesome. See you then. Beep, beep.
What a dismount. All right, we appreciate Maddy. I'll go follow her. If you missed the joke, last year when Maddy was doing the segments with us, I guess she had her phone on her cheek and she kept hitting the button, and so it kept beeping throughout the interview, and so that's why she alluded to the beep beep. She joined us on a video chat there. So and give us some feedback too. I think on the video calls, because we're trying to do that with a lot of our guests. I think there's 2 things. Number one, obviously, if you're watching us on YouTube or on WBTR, and thank you for watching, I think it just gives you a better product, obviously, to be able to see the guest. Number one. Number two, for those listening on radio or podcast on demand, wherever, I think you're getting better audio quality than on a phone. So I think that's better for you all, but give us feedback, because if that's something that you all prefer, we'll keep trying to do that with every guest that's available to. So let us know. Okay, it's After Further Review. Thanks to Maddy. She does an awesome job. For those who don't, Maddy did the Scouting Academy, and so she went through, like, she's an alum of the Scouting Academy, so she's a scout. So she has a great eye when she's watching film, and very acute to know what she's looking for in coverages and all that sort of stuff. So alignments, and so I trust her eye and appreciate very much her doing that legwork and coming sharing with us. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC when we come back, and then Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes from right now. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Electric vehicle chargers for your home or your office building. So many of you business owners, commercial building owners have reached out to ProCharge. So salute to you, and thank you for that. And I'll tell you, if you've heard me mention ProCharge before and you haven't called yet, man, it's so worth the phone call. You can even just go to the website, ProChargeEV.com, ProChargeEV.com. There's a form as you scroll down to the bottom that you'll fill out. It's a contact form. Fill out a little info. They'll be in touch with you. Listen, there are state and federal grants that are being distributed to help people pay for these EV chargers. Manufacturers are ramping up the production of electric vehicles, so our nation is building up EV infrastructure. As I say often, it doesn't matter what you think about EVs. It doesn't. Like, people are driving them, and there has to be infrastructure, and the federal government's helping pay for it. So if you have a commercial building, it is so worth having an EV charger or chargers. ProCharge is local, and they can help. ProChargeEV.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Call in Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
The best.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN, along with Acura of Baton Rouge, are teaming up to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This nonprofit organization provides scholarships to the spouses and children of soldiers who were killed or disabled in service. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at 1045ESPN.com. Everyone who makes a donation will be entered to win exclusive prizes. Folds of Honor, to honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy.
So it's LSU-Arkansas week. I think when NIL promotions are done right and done well, people really like. Is there a better one than DeColdis Crawford? That's probably the best one. Can we agree? Would you say that's the best? Are there any ones I'm forgetting?
Not one that comes immediately to mind, so I'll go with DeColdis Crawford, yeah. Because, I mean, I feel like if it was that good, it would come straight to mind.
DeColdis Crawford, the wide receiver who was up at Nebraska. He's now at Louisiana Tech, by the way. Did an NIL deal with an AC company, which, called DeColdis. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, the video went viral. Whatever they paid him, they underpaid him. It was incredible. It was just so well done, and it was fun. And those opportunities happen. Doesn't General Booty have an underwear line now as well? Can you check?
If he does,
check that. I'm pretty sure I saw that on Twitter. Now it might just be a Twitter thing, but check that for me, please. This one is spectacular. And disclosure, this is a sponsor of ours. So, but I would mention this even if it was. You see it?
Yep. He launched his own underwear line.
How good is that?
That is so.
How good is that?
So good.
By the way, another North Louisiana guy, DeColdis Crawford and General Booty, both from North Louisiana. And the guy I'm about to mention, another North Louisiana guy, Will Campbell. What's going on in North Louisiana with NIL? They just get it up there in the 318.
Man, the
Shout
hub.
out. Okay, so Will Campbell. So Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. That's our Tuesday title sponsor. Great people, love them. Grace, the marketing director over there, she does a phenomenal job. They've done NIL deals with a lot of Tiger football players, and every week they're kind of having, and I know some of the other ones that are coming, which is pretty cool. Wait until Florida week. There might be one involving a gator. I don't want to spill too much, but anyway, so here Will Campbell is riding a John Deere Gator. The ATV, and you can pull the sound up on that too, Muse. he's riding around on a gator and on a farm, and he goes into this barn and he's riding around with all these piglets on Arkansas. So you have this massive LSU offensive lineman going into this barn, picking up these little baby piglets and like walking them around with a leash and putting them on the gator. He's just like, it's like they're his little children, like they're his little pets. He's feeding one with a bottle. I mean, it's like, this is well done. No, this is like, I'm not missing this. This is really well done.
No, it is. And I mean, the song is perfect too.
What's the song?
God's Gonna Cut You Down.
Okay.
Johnny Cash there. So, I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, check it out on their social media if you haven't seen it yet. Hat tip to my friends at Sunshine. And when I think about NIL, this is what I like. This is when it's done right. Yes, I think we all understand NIL was not meant to be pay for play, but it's happening, and I don't care. I've told you this a million times. I am the farthest extreme of pro player, pro NIL, pro portal that you could find. I am just, carte blanche, give them everything they want. But when it's done right and done well, it can convert for businesses, and this is a great example. Very well-known football player from North Louisiana, very familiar with agriculture and farming from a rural part of the state, who's riding around on a John Deere gator, going into a barn, picking up little piglets on the Arkansas week. That is chef's kiss, perfect. All right, it's After Further Review. Well done to my friends over at Sunshine, and well done to Will Campbell as well. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We will have Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro coming up. Love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding, and now indoor shutters as well. You want those beautiful custom indoor shutters for your home that will continue to make your home more energy efficient, that won't chip or yellow or crack or peel. They're also fire retardant as well, so it adds a layer of safety to your home. Those custom-made indoor shutters for your home, you can get them at Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all at Relief Windows, and you always get exceptional customer service. It's Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com. That's ReliefWindows.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Running back Rocket Sanders missed the last two games with swelling in his knee. As a matter of fact, can you play it in you? Sam Pittman gave an update on Rocket Sanders earlier today on the SEC Coaches Teleconference.
I don't have an update on his status, but I can tell you that he ran well yesterday and progressing faster than what I thought he might, but I don't know whether he'll be able to play or not.
All right, he's missed the last two games with swelling in his knee. Status still up in the air. Also, defensive lineman Anthony Booker dealing with soreness in his knees. He's questionable as well for Saturday.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Offensive lineman Amarius Mims had tightrope surgery on his injured left ankle. With Mims out this past weekend, the Bulldogs moved, Xavier Truss to right tackle from left guard, and they put Dylan Fairchild at left guard. So a little bit of a two-position switch there with Mims out. Javon Bullard working his way back also from an ankle injury, and wide receiver Ladd McConkey expected to be out again this week with a back injury as Georgia takes on UAB.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn cornerback Keontae Scott left Saturday night's game against Samford wearing a walking boot, and he went on social media and played a convo he had with a doctor about his high ankle sprain. Scott did have the tightrope procedure also on Monday. The doctor did not offer a time frame for his return.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And Tennessee basketball coach Rick Barnes has gotten a one-year contract extension. He now runs through the 27-28 season. Remaining 5 years on the contract pay him an average annual salary of $5.88 million. Barnes is 69 years old. Vols coming up their second Sweet 16 appearance under Barnes. Tennessee won the SEC tournament in 2022 for the first time since 1979. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get. They're a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models of your office equipment. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, and Lafayette, and always online at gcopnet.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Quick break. Come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1 with Bourbon Dictionary. And in 15 minutes, we're heading up to Lambeau Field or near Lambeau Field. Bill Schmid does radio up there covering the Packers. He'll join us in about 15 minutes to give us a little peek into the window of how the Packers are looking 2 games into the Jordan Love era. Stick around with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. Get your booze questions in, y'all. Taylor Calandro joins us. Started this during COVID when wasn't nobody doing nothing but pouring drinks and sitting at home. So we just said, hey, let's answer your booze questions on Whiskey Wednesday. And got really popular, so we kept doing it. And Taylor's with us now. How are you, dude?
Good. Here, COVID, Matt.
What's that?
I said, yeah, let's go COVID.
No, let's not go COVID. No, not at all. No. What? But some of there was some good stuff that was born out of necessity.
Oh, God, no. There was a whole lot of bad, though.
No, I get it. But things like Zoom. I mean, Zoom is now part of our everyday vernacular. People do video calls and video, like
virtual Zoom, bro.
Oh, God. We got that drop, but the virtual Zoom room. Anyway, so What's new?
Man, we with the cool weather brought a nice little allocated dump today that I put on the shelf this morning that we didn't have a whole lot left when I left about an hour ago. I had McKenna 10, EH small batch, Weller, Reserve, Rare, Blanton's, Toasted, Elijah Craig, and I have barrel proof Elijah Craig too.
You put all of this on the shelf?
Yeah, and I think there should be some left. But please don't call the store though; they're not going to hold you anything. We don't hold bottles. There was the only thing that was left when I left was Elijah Craig Toast and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is really cool, and they started doing this again. The new batches have age statements on the front.
Oh, cool.
So this new batch is 13 years and 7 months.
Wow, that is very cool.
And it's I can't remember, it was like 135 proof or something.
I'm so disappointed in you. Like, how could you do that and not tell me?
I didn't tell anybody. No one. I just put it all on the shelf. No Instagram, nothing. So
I know. So for everyone that thinks that I get preferential treatment, no, I don't.
And we got our Sazerac rye barrel Thursday last week, and it's still on the shelf. Yeah.
Okay, that's
really good rye barrel, reasonably priced. I think it's around $25, 23, 26. I can't remember, but it's around $25. It's hard to beat.
Man, we endorse Sazerac here for a long time, and for various reasons, whatever that doesn't happen anymore, out of our control. But I love the product. I mean, if you like rye whiskey, you can't be. I mean, it's 94 proof. It's $25. You can drink it straight. You can drink it neat. You can drink it rocks. You can mix it in a cocktail. It's so versatile. It's a great spirit. I highly recommend. $26.
It's one of my favorite just everyday whiskeys, period. And the fact that it's a single barrel makes it better too. So
I'm going to get to your questions for Taylor, so fire away. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat. You can text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400. I was having lunch today, shout out, over at Tallulah at the Renaissance, and I was talking to Nathaniel. And they've done a great job building up their whiskey bar there at Tallulah. And one of the ones that they have that they're starting to display now is Westward whiskey. I think it's from like Oregon, maybe. What can you tell me about this?
So actually, speaking of COVID, we were supposed to go to Westward in March of 2020, and we were going to do a single barrel with them. It's an interesting distillery. They are partnered with a distillery in Australia too, I think. It's called like Starlight or so. I can't remember what it's called, but they got a weird partnership. But it's an American single malt, which is very unusual because most single malts you get come from Scotland,
right,
or Ireland. It's just not very popular here. So it's one of the first single malts. Stranahan is a single malt from Colorado. I think it's cool because they age Scotch in Scotland, obviously, and I think Oregon's weather is very similar to Scotland year-round.
Okay.
So I think that's what makes that distillery kind of cool and unique. Single malts are weird because I feel like they get better with age, and that's not necessarily true with bourbon. It is true with bourbon, but not necessarily true across the board. So.
Man, one thing I know for sure is whenever spirits go to the San Francisco International Wine and Spirits Competition, win gold medals, they become very popular. And like all of their releasing won gold and double gold and all this sort of stuff. So I would imagine this is something that is or will become very popular?
Yeah, I mean, and we tried their portfolio 3 or 4 years ago, and we were going to Oregon to get a single barrel. So, I mean, we thought it was good stuff.
Okay.
But that got canceled. We were going to get a barrel, and we were going to play Bandon Dunes, too. I was very upset about that.
Well, next time you go, call Gordy Rush. He'll join you there at Bandon Dunes.
I saw Gordy Rush today. Oh, speaking of Gordy Rush, we have a raffle day.
Okay. Hit me.
December 14th.
December 14th is the raffle.
I'm meeting with Gordy Rush tomorrow. And we're debating on doing it in person this year, too, so we don't know yet. But December 14th is the day. We just don't know if it's going to be in person or in the studio.
Great. It's the day of the Guaranteed Christmas Party yet again. So this will be like an awesome, long-running thing where I never get to go to the Guaranteed Christmas Party.
This is Gordy's deal, man.
I know. It's Gordy. I ran us completely out of time. We've got 10 seconds. So we'll do questions next week. I'll bid you adieu. And thank you for nothing for not calling me that you had allocated whiskeys on the shelf today, jerk.
Yeah, man. All right.
So much.
Go Tigers. Let's go.
Whatever. See you later.
See you.
AFR.
Dude had allocated whiskeys on the shelf and didn't call me. Michelle weighing and measurement. You want to weigh and measure my disappointment in Taylor Calandro? I bet Michelle can do it. They can weigh and measure anything. Michelle.com, Michelli, Michelle.com. 76 years, y'all. 76 years. It's incredible. 76 years. They've continued to grow. 31 different calibration labs across 11 different states. They've continued to grow, maintain their local ownership. Still do business with a handshake and a smile. Walk into the office there at Harahan, their main office. First door on your left, Joel McMullen, President and CEO, front and center. Not buried back in some corner somewhere, away from all the action. Nope, right there, front and center. You walk in the door, there's the President and CEO when you walk in the door. It's a great place, man. Could not endorse them highly enough. Whatever industry you're in, you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent you the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelle Weighing and Measurement, Michelle.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The head of the Baton Rouge Municipal Civil Service Board tells the investigative unit he's not going anywhere. It comes 24 hours after his arrest on felony charges for contractor fraud. Brandon Williams has been in trouble before. In fact, he's scheduled to go to trial at the end of this year for felony theft. Tonight, he's facing new charges of doing the same thing. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams has resigned, citing his health. Head coach Matt Eberflus will call the defense Sunday against the Chiefs. Meantime, Chicago quarterback Justin Fields admitted he felt robotic in the loss to the Buccaneers. Asked why, said it could be coaching, but he did make it clear he's not blaming his coaches. Said his goal is to be free to be himself. Eberflus said he doesn't mind Fields speaking up. Important to make sure that he plays free and they coach him that way. Offensive coordinator Luke Getsy will play a role in that, explains Freddie and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
Utilize him to the best of his abilities. That's your job as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive play caller, is understanding everyone on your offense, how they work, what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses, and exploit the strengths and never the weaknesses. If Justin Fields, get him on the move, get him outside the pocket. So now he has a run-pass option.
Giants star running back Saquon Barkley out tomorrow against the 49ers with an ankle injury. Panthers QB Bryce Young held out of today's walkthrough with an ankle injury. Baseball, Twins reduced their magic number to clinch the AL Central to 2 with a 5-3 win over the Reds.
When it comes to hiring, you don't need to be doing all the searching, screening, and interviewing yourself. What you need is Indeed, the end-to-end solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. And Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Sue. And Mr. Toby Tomlin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Russ Mitchell had to bounce on us, but luckily our boy, J-Boy, Jake Crain will be with us next hour in Russ's place, talk some college football. Both Brian Kelly and Sam Pittman on the SEC Coaches Teleconference. We'll get to that in 15 minutes. Dennis Allen gave an update on Packers prep today. Nope, that ain't it. Don't worry about it. We try to be fancy schmancy over here sometimes.
We got in about 2 o'clock in the morning and got a couple hours of sleep and got back at it this morning. So we're playing a little bit of catch up, but ultimately we'll when it comes time to play on Sunday, we'll have a good plan together and be ready to go on Sunday.
Happy to welcome aboard a radio guy who understands the struggles of being a radio guy sometimes. Bill Schmid at Bill Schmid Radio 97.3 The Game there in Milwaukee, covers the Packers. Bill, how are you, man?
Matt, I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you having me on. And, yeah, I enjoy the struggle. I know it quite well. So, fantastic work. Sounded beautiful.
Thank you, Bill. Hey, Bill, did we talk to you in 2016 when LSU played Wisconsin at Lambeau?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it was me. At that point, I was a senior in college. So if you would have talked to me, it would have been maybe a little bit slurred at that moment. Yep.
Bill, I just know. I was like, Bill Schmid. I'm like, well, how do I know that name? We've had Bill Schmid on this show at some point in the past. I have no idea why. It doesn't matter. All right, we'll move on. Hey, all right, Jordan Love. Well, I think every conversation revolving around the Packers has to start there. Give me your synopsis through 2 games.
Through 2 games, Matt, it's been better than I would have anticipated. I was one of the more pessimistic Packer fans at the moment, broadcasters alike, when the move goes through. Now, not that I was standing up on the table, campaigning for them to continue on with the Aaron Rodgers era. I believe that had kind of run its course. And to be quite honest with you, the Packers weren't going to get the Aaron Rodgers that the Jets got until 4 plays into his Monday night debut. That just wasn't going to happen again. The relationship, I think, was too far gone at that moment. However, at the time, I was not positive into what you had in Jordan, because we hadn't gotten a great chance to see him outside of 2 regular season games, without a first preseason in his rookie campaign, because he gets drafted the year of COVID, running its course through the National Football League. So no training camp, no preseason games. He hadn't played a game in almost a full year by the time he got on the field in 21's preseason, and then gets hurt in the 21 preseason. So misses all those opportunities. Last year, I thought he got a little bit better each time we saw him in the preseason, but you take that with a grain of salt being around this game. And then coming into 2023, I don't know if it was simply the change in the organizational structure, meaning Aaron Rodgers out, him going in, everybody being very, very aligned in wanting him to succeed. Everybody that's in that room and the decision makers there were in the room in 2020 when they selected him, right? So everybody has a vested stake in Jordan Love being good, Jordan Love being the next starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers for a long-term run, and he has checked those boxes. I mean, some of the numbers are pretty astonishing. I saw one earlier today of he's right now one of 4 quarterbacks in the last 20 years to start each of his first 2 games of a season with 3 touchdowns, no picks. The only other guys to do it are Mahomes a couple of times and Peyton Manning. He's not that, I don't believe, but I will tell you this, the optimism in the land of cheese is quite higher than anybody would have expected. And what at least I've been told as somebody who's grown up, this is kind of tough for a lot of fan bases to hear. Real champagne problems here, Matt. I've only watched my favorite team with a Hall of Fame quarterback being the starter.
Yeah.
So I had been cautioned by many in our fan base to say it's not going to be this good. It's not always going to be this good. You just wait till the 70s and 80s come back, and through 2 games, it's been pretty good from what 10 has shown back there. The poise, confidence is really, really impressive, and the arm strength is there. It just needs to have more consistency in the money downs. He was really good week 1, not so good week 2, didn't have the ball a whole lot in the fourth quarter, but it's a put up or shut up game when you need a field goal to win the game, 57 seconds left. That's one that the greats are going to go down and win. In week 2 as the first year of a starter, it's not necessarily anticipated that you're going to make that play. But if he's going to be in that realm of the guys that I mentioned earlier, some of the stats that tie him to, that's the next step for you to be able to take.
Where is the concern offensively?
I'll tell you this, the concern right now is on the injury report. When Aaron Jones pops up on that injury report, and I think he was a DNP officially today, practiced or worked out inside, didn't come out with the team once they go out to the outdoor media available portion of practice. That's a concern. He is by far their most dynamic playmaker. He's their most consistent playmaker. He has 2 touchdowns on the season, and they're 2 of the biggest drives that they had in that Chicago game and really busted it on open. Christian Watson has not played yet here in 2023. He popped up on the injury report week of the first game and has been MIA since, and a guy that dealt with some soft tissue injuries last year. So the real concern so far is on the injury report, and then that also includes their 2 Pro Bowl linemen in Elton Jenkins, who goes down with a sprained MCL in Atlanta, and then David Bakhtiari, which is one of the biggest talkers here in Wisconsin, is what's going on with David Bakhtiari and his knee that has been surgically repaired multiple times after a torn ACL on New Year's Eve of 2020. He hasn't really been able to get it quite right. He was on the field week 1, was dominant, was not on the field week 2. That was a surprise. So really the biggest concern right now is who's going to be there on Sunday at noon when they kick this thing on off.
Bill Schmid is with us on Twitter at Bill Schmid Radio, or I guess on X at Bill Schmid Radio. 97.3 The Game there in Milwaukee, Packers Radio. Flip it over to the defensive side of the ball for Green Bay. Through 2 weeks, albeit you saw Justin Fields and Desmond Ridder, so you didn't exactly see Mahomes and Allen, but neither did the Saints for that matter. But what do we know about this Green Bay defense through 2 weeks?
We know that the defensive coordinator is much maligned up here, and he had quite a few arrows going towards Joe Barry, the DC, this year. He's in his third year. Many people in the fan base thought he was going to get dismissed last year. I kind of also did, to be honest with you, but then they would have been on, and Matt LaFleur would have been on, guys, his third defensive coordinator in 5 years. And in the NFL, it's a not-for-long business, but the coaching fraternity is a little bit tighter knit, and I think that potentially gave them some pause in that move. And they closed the year out well last year, albeit with a bunch of turnovers coming from Tua, who at one point seemed like he may have been concussed during that game through 3 straight picks. Kirk Cousins gave him a couple. Justin Fields gave him a couple. Baker Mayfield comes up here in December and gift wraps 3 picks for you the week of Christmas. So it was a really good finish to the year, but the mean of what we've seen from Joe Barry-led defenses in Green Bay just hasn't been good enough. So that is kind of the recipe for it, that they have gotten run on significantly over the last, decade or so. But most importantly, last week, they were unable to stop a nosebleed in the second half. 4 of 5 possessions end in Falcons scores. Atlanta chewed up 20-plus minutes of time of possession in that fourth quarter, and they only ran 10 plays in the fourth quarter offensively. So Atlanta was on the field the entire time, and Green Bay didn't really have an answer for it. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think this is one of the biggest questions that we've been kicking around on the 9 to Noon radio show that I do on the game, like you mentioned, in Milwaukee, is they have guys at every position who have been voted Pro Bowlers, right? Devondre Campbell has been a Pro Bowler. He was actually first-team All-Pro in 2021. Rashawn Gary, we think, is in that realm. He is coming off an ACL surgery, but looked really, really good. Kenny Clark's been to a couple of Pro Bowls. Jair Alexander is bona fide, couple of Pro Bowls. But do they have Pro Bowlers or all pros? And I think that's a lot of times the real differentiator between good defenses and great defenses that you win because of. I think right now their defense is one that you can probably win with, not one that you win because of. And that's going to be, I think, frankly, more of a personnel thing than a coaching thing. But as you guys know, you can't fire all the players. You can fire the defensive coordinator. And that's one of the reasons why Joe Barry's name has been in the news so much.
Hey, Bill, what is the you said recipe, so I'll use your word. What's the recipe for Matt LaFleur on Sunday to get a win against New Orleans? How would it look ideally for Green Bay?
That's a really good question. I think, frankly, it is playing turnover-free. They've been able to be turnover-free so far in 2023, and Jordan's last consistent playing time was in 2019 when he was leading Utah State and also leading the FBS in interceptions with 17. So they keep control of the football. I think this is a field goal game either way, and I think they have a really good chance to win the game. They got to be able to run the ball more if Aaron Jones isn't in the game. And second-round pick from a few years ago, A.J. Dillon, has been quite disappointing in that realm. Just he's had 1 or 2 pop-up games where he runs for 100 yards and people start flooding to the Packers Pro Shop to buy 28 jerseys. And then there's a day like this past week where it's 15 carries for 50 yards, and it looks painful to try to see if they can gain 3 or 4 on the ground. So they got to be able to run the ball, albeit much easier said than done against this Saints front, man, which is pretty impressive. So they got to be able to run the ball and set up easy throws for Love. I think that's the recipe for a lot of teams, is don't turn the ball over. But Jordan has found some real consistency with Romeo Doubs. He's got a really nice rapport with him. Rookie Jaden Reed from Michigan State had 2 scores a week ago, 8 targets, and I think number 11 ultimately is probably the guy that you're going to see with a number of targets, probably the most used wide receiver here on Sunday.
Saints-Packers noon kickoff there at Lambeau on Sunday. He's Bill Schmid, 97.3 the game there in Milwaukee, part of the Packers Radio Network. Good enough to join us. Bill, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Enjoy the game on Sunday.
You guys, too, if anybody's coming on up, I don't know that it's going to be as good of a tailgate as it was for LSU, Wisconsin, but it should be a heck of a party. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, man. Everything was so great about that trip, Bill, until the game kicked off. I mean, it was...
Until the game, huh? I'm going to be honest with you. There are people that still tell stories about the LSU Tiger fans coming on up here and out drinking Wisconsin people. That doesn't happen very often. So you have to be very proud of yourself.
That happens everywhere LSU goes, Bill. That's just like the sun rising. It's no big deal down here. So eventually, you know the most astonishing thing, though, Bill? Every time, and it's just old hat because, like, LSU keeps going these places, and every time LSU fans show up, you would think, like, word would their reputation would precede them, and these places would be ready. And Bill, I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to these damn hotels, and the first day the hotel is completely drunk dry. Then the next morning they've got Bloody Mary bars in the lobby and push carts with booze because that's like, okay, now you get it. So anyway, yes. Hey, look, that's the thing we all have in common. Wisconsinites and Louisianians. We love to drink and have a good time for sure.
You're dang right, and we love some football being tied on in there. That is a pilgrimage I need to make as a football fan, is down to Death Valley, and I look forward to being able to do it, guys.
Holler at me when you make it, man. We'll treat you right.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it again. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Bill. Be well. That's Bill Schmid joining us, 97.3 the game there in Milwaukee, giving us a little insight on the Packers. God, that Wisconsin trip. Everything was the weather was great. Just touring Lambeau, doing shows at Lambeau Field, was with the LSU Alumni Association. They set up just an absolutely picture-perfect Friday night dinner, cocktail hour in the club area of Lambeau. Everything was where we stayed with the Alumni Association was in one of the casino resorts. We had cheese curd dinners and beers everywhere, and it was just awesome. And then the game. Oh, I will say this forever. I'm going way long. I don't care because I'm finishing my point. It's my show. I'll do whatever I want. I will say this forever. 2016 LSU, that team should have won the national championship. Your running backs were Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, and Darrell Williams. Your wide receivers were Malachi Dupree, a 5-star, DJ Chark, Russell Gage. On the offensive line, you had Ethan Posick, Will Clapp, Maya Tehuma. Remember him? 5-star, who was awesome. He was awesome. Foster Moreau was your tight end. You're loaded with NFL players. Defensively, Greg Gilmore, Devon Godshaw, Christian Lockature, Frank Herron, Kendall Beckwith, Duke Riley, your cornerbacks, Dante Jackson and Tre'Davious White, your safety, Jamal Adams. Oh, just the, what was he, 4th pick of the draft? 5th, whatever it was. 5th pick, that doesn't matter. And John Battle. You had no business, none whatsoever, losing to Green Bay or to Auburn, losing to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know what I'm trying to say. You had no business losing to Wisconsin. You had no business losing at Auburn. When Ed Ogeron took over, you had no business losing to Bama or Florida. That team in 2016 should have won the national championship. The one thing you didn't have was a dominant quarterback. I get it, but Brandon Harris should have been good enough. You went to Etling eventually, but it should have been good enough. Hell, I saw Jake Coker win a national championship. It can happen. Should have been good enough. I'm so late. Go to break. Sorry.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance and the Watermark, 2 great hotel properties in Baton Rouge. I had lunch today at Tallulah in the Renaissance. Went and saw Nathaniel and Allison and Chef Jason Hebert over there at Tallulah. And I've told you for months, the best-kept secret in Baton Rouge won't be a secret much longer. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. You've heard me say that. Tallulah is no longer a secret. Might I recommend, if you are looking to have dinner at Tallulah, especially on the weekend, you should certainly call ahead for a reservation. And I hesitate to tell you how far out their reservations are for weekends right now because I don't want to dissuade you from calling. But, y'all, I mean, it is a chef-curated menu. This is casual upscale dining. It is magnificent. Chef Jason Hebert just won the gold medal at the Baton Rouge Epicurean Society's Fête Rouge competition. The food is divine. The ambiance is great. LSU football is there on Fridays before home games. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9090.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
What kind of makes the game tough and challenging is just, it's a rivalry game. So, like, every year, we're going to get their best shot and they're going to get our best shot because we're playing for a trophy. And, it just means a lot, especially in the SEC. These rivalry games mean a lot.
That is LSU center Charles Turner met with reporters on Tuesday night. LSU getting set to host Arkansas in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. You heard him say it. It's a rivalry game. You're playing for a trophy. You believe that, Muse? Rivalry game, playing for a trophy?
From Charles Turner, I do, because listening to the rest of it, he sounded like he liked the boot a lot, actually, man. So for him, I do. Yeah. The rest of them, no.
The boot is so stupid. It's the 28th annual battle for the Golden Boot.
The graphic's pretty sick, though. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know who did this graphic.
It's a pretty good graphic.
I'll shout him out here in a second. Anyway, it is about, so the graphic is courtesy of, well, I don't know if they ripped it, but Ricky Keller.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's good
Shout
enough
out.
for me. We gave some attribution.
I don't know if it's his or if someone else did it, but I just Googled the boot LSU, and that's what popped up, and it looks pretty good. Anyway, the thing in this game on Saturday, though, that is undeniably, that the thing about this game that undeniably shifts the leverage toward LSU is where it falls on the calendar. This is not even debatable. The 28th battle for the Golden Boot. They've been playing this game at the end in November since Arkansas came into the league. And since Arkansas came into the league, LSU has resented this game. Hated the fact that it was on Friday after Thanksgiving at 1:30 in the afternoon. And LSU complained for so many years. A&M comes into the league and they go, fine, we'll give you A&M on Thanksgiving weekend. Arkansas and Missouri, you're playing at 1:30 on Fridays now. And Arkansas melted over it because how could you give us this fake trophy, fake name, battle line game with a team that's just coming in? And every LSU fan's going, cry me a river, loser. We were here for 70 years before you showed up, and we got saddled with your ass. You get to take the new kid for a turn. Go show the new kid around campus. But they moved the game to the week after Alabama. Didn't do LSU a damn favor. Because no matter what LSU or Arkansas was in a given year is irrelevant because LSU always is going to be at its highest for Alabama. And that's just a fact. Like every team in a given year has the game on their calendar that they're going to circle and they're going to elevate their play. It's just true. LSU is going to be higher for Bama than when they go to Missouri. That's just how it goes. You hope you play well enough at Missouri to where it doesn't clip you. But when you get sky high for Bama, the next week you're going to have a come down. And it was always Arkansas sitting there waiting. Well, after they moved it off the silly Friday after Thanksgiving game. So either way, when this game was in November, the emotion of the game, the effort always benefited Arkansas. Always. Now, it's September. It's the fourth week of the season. You got fresh legs. You're learning your team. Everybody's still playing for everything. There is nothing emotional about this game that should weigh down LSU. You're coming off a game where you pimp slapped Mississippi State for 3 hours. Next week you go to Ole Miss, not really a look-ahead spot. This team can't really afford to look ahead. It's just, here comes Arkansas. Oh, the big heavy boot thing. I just leave it, put it on the table over there. Just make sure nobody knocks it over. That's the opinion. Like this should be there is no excuse this weekend. This should be a total focus, locked-in game for LSU. There is no excuse about where it falls on the schedule or who's sky high or who's not ready to play. This should be one of those, go out there, play your best game, just like build upon what you did against Mississippi State, get another win, and then on to the next. Because for LSU, every week over the next 6 are on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, until you get to Tuscaloosa. And that's when you should be 7-1 going into that game and having everything laid out right in front of you. But you got to take care of business, and there's no excuse with Arkansas this week. Now, a couple of things. Both Brian Kelly and Sam Pittman were on the SEC coaches teleconference. The biggest difference this year from last year, of course, is KJ Jefferson. KJ Jefferson is a great college quarterback. I don't think he's going to project as a great professional quarterback, but he is a great college quarterback. And LSU didn't see him last year. Malik Hornsby filled in for an injured KJ Jefferson. Here was Brian Kelly on the Arkansas quarterback.
Just his presence, as a quarterback, the size that he brings to the position, He breaks so many tackles, keeps plays alive. It forces, from a defensive perspective to stay in coverage. And then when he gets out, it's getting him on the ground. So, he brings a huge dimension to what goes on, from a defensive structure standpoint. You have to be so sound fundamentally. And then, he breaks down the play and all kinds of things can happen after that. So it'll be a great challenge that we have this Saturday with him.
So Jefferson, at this point in the season, look, he's played a lot of football. KJ Jefferson was a freshman back in 2019, LSU's championship season. So this is his 5th season in college. He made the decision to come back like Jaden Daniels did for a 5th collegiate season, taking advantage of the extra COVID year. But this is his 3rd year as a full-time starter there at Arkansas. The last 2 years, he's thrown for 2,600 yards, and he is a really good runner as well. That's the dimension of KJ Jefferson's game that differentiates him, because he's a 6'3", 250-pound battering ram. It's a lot like Tim Tebow in that respect, a guy that can throw the ball but also can line up and fall forward and get you 3, 5, 7 yards and keep drives alive if you don't bottle them up. It's going to be a huge impetus for the LSU defensive line to have a really good day, a sound day against the Arkansas offensive front, which is not good this year, by the way. Arkansas, their tackle positions have been turnstiles. It has not been good on that offensive line. That is a major talking point in Fayetteville right now, is the struggles that offensive line has had. And now here comes this LSU defensive front, which looks deep and talented and strong and physical and athletic. And that should be a real challenge for Arkansas to run the ball. And we'll see if Rocket Sanders is even available, which means it could come down to KJ throwing the ball against the LSU secondary. For LSU, though, the real challenge is what I opened with. There was no excuse emotionally in this ball game because of where the game falls. A year ago, you have this gigantic emotional overtime win against Alabama. And then you got to go on the road, and there's snow flurries and ice on the ground in Fayetteville. You expected LSU to be sky high for that one? Now, they got lucky because KJ didn't play. And so the game plan changed a ton because you didn't have to go out there and really force the issue because you knew they weren't moving the football, and they didn't by and large. But this is different. So Brian Kelly was asked, about the phrase he used last week was competitive edge. You want to see competitive edge. Well, how do you do that again?
This is college football, and keeping young men at that competitive edge week in and week out is the biggest challenge that we face now. There are so many distractions, so many things that can get you away from where you need to be focused, and that will be the challenge for this football team, is to play with the same kind of competitive edge that they played with last week.
And the challenge for Arkansas, or the concern with Arkansas, is catching them coming off the BYU loss. Are they zeroed in, focused, and ready to play their best game and what they do deem as a rivalry game? I expect Arkansas to be up. LSU just can't be down. LSU just needs to be it, which is why it's an 18-point favorite right now. But Arkansas outgained BYU last week. If you look at the yardstick, it was kind of stunning. Arkansas put up 424 yards of total offense, BYU 281. Arkansas outgained BYU by 150 yards. Arkansas had a couple of turnovers. Penalties really cost them in that ball game. It's kind of amazing to watch how undisciplined this Arkansas team has been. They had 14 penalties. Let me say this again. Arkansas had 14 penalties for 125 yards against BYU. Penalties, turnovers killed them in a game where they twice led by double digits at home and lost to Keaton Slovis, the journeyman quarterback, and BYU. So for LSU, you got to feel like you're going to get a motivated Arkansas team, and Brian Kelly on the teleconference acknowledged as much.
We're going to get Arkansas's best. Certainly, I just say, hey, put yourself in Arkansas's shoe. If we didn't play well against Mississippi State, you can imagine the paint would be peeling off the walls in this building, and our expectations would be, through practice and how we prepare, and we would be coming out, ready to play, and that's going to be the case with Arkansas. So we're going to get their very best, and we're going to have to match and exceed that.
I'm going to say it one more time. And when you're Arkansas, well, I might say more than one time, look at what's ahead for this team. We knew how they had to start Arkansas had to start 3-0 because of what was coming, and they didn't do it. They beat Western Carolina. They eked past Kent State 28-6, and then they lost to BYU. Now, at LSU, Jerry World against A&M, at Ole Miss, at Alabama. Arkansas, their next 4 are away from home. So you lose to BYU, your next 4 are away from home, and you could lose all 4 of them. Like, this season for Arkansas could be over before you even get to November, before you get to the middle of October. So they got a heavy climb, a steep climb, a heavy load to haul, does Arkansas. And this is not an easy task this weekend, but if you're LSU, you better believe you're going to get their best swing on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Okay, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call Dr. Blake Williamson over at 924-2020. Set up that consultation, 924-2020. I love when I hear Dr. Blake say this. Said, you know, the ability to see is something that every single person should have. Every single person should be able to see 2020. And one by one, he's giving people that gift. And slowly but surely, we're helping convert the masses. Refractive surgery is for everyone because there is a refractive procedure for everyone, no matter your age or refractive issue. Maybe it's LASIK, which was perfect for me. Paulie had LASIK. Maybe it's the ICL, the implantable contact lens. Maybe it's PRK, or maybe it's the lens replacement surgery. There's so many options to help you see 2020 without contacts or glasses. It's the Williamson Eye Center. Let Dr. Blake help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Russ had to bail today, but Jake Crain, our buddy from Crain & Company, is going to be with us in Russ's place here in about 45 minutes from right now. All right, a lot to do. I'm compressed. Let's knock out a break. We got overrated, underrated coming up, Tigers and the pros. I do still want to talk about the Saints and if they should add a running back. We'll get to that in about 25 minutes to start hour number 3 because breaking news, I think they should. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential, call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's Darren James's cell phone number. One thing Darren says all the time, if it's important to that person, it's important to me. Meaning if it's important to you, the client, it's important to Darren. And those aren't just words, he lives it. Darren is so motivated to get you onto whatever's next in your life. You know, maybe you're a married couple buying your first house. Maybe you're a divorced couple that has to go your separate ways and you need to navigate selling a home and buying a new home. Darren can help with that. Maybe you're a family that is going through a succession after the passing of a loved one and you need to sell a property. No matter what it is, Darren is going to maximize your result for you. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, They've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family at Front to Back Boat Service.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to Six Rings.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I rode along here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. Of course, sports trivia tonight, trivia tonight at Pluckers. We'll do some Pluckers trivia coming up about 45 minutes from right now. Muse, we're a little short on time, but let's hit it quick, man. Let's do some overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
Overrated or underrated? Hibachi.
Well, if you're going to Ichiban, it is properly rated because it's the best ever in the world. No, I think hibachi is underrated. Generally, when you're thinking about what you might want to do if you're having a large scale gathering, I think too often we don't think about hibachi. But you can get 10, 12, 15 people around a hibachi table. You have a great meal. There's something for everyone, right? What do you want? You want steak? You want chicken? You want shrimp? Like, whatever you want, you can have, and it's delicious and it's entertaining, and everyone can sit, at a table where everybody can face everybody. A hibachi, underrated hibachi.
Love a good onion volcano.
How about that? When
so good.
They throw the egg in their hat.
I love it.
Throw the little egg and then catch it.
Front pocket too.
Yeah, the front pocket. Yeah,
always good.
Hey, open your mouth.
Yeah.
Get that like the not the lo mein, but the rice.
The rice.
The pork fritters. They pop it in my hand. Got it.
Overrated or underrated? Throwback uniforms.
So it really depends, Muse. I don't think this is all encompassing. I think some people have terrible throwback uniforms, and their change was a positive one. Some people, their throwbacks, they should have never gone away from and should re-adopt as their all-time permanent uniform. So that is an indefinite answer because it's too ambiguous. You'd have to give me a specific throwback uniform.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that one day then. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
Overrated or underrated? AirPods.
Overrated. The concept of an AirPod or of a wireless headphone is fantastic. The fail rate is far too high. I would say, because I do a lot of interviews, and we talk about Zoom and things like that, and a lot of people want to do video interviews, so you try to pop in the AirPods, and I'd say my fail rate's about 75%. And I've got AirPods, I've got Beats, I've got plenty of them, but wireless headphones in concept are great, but in functionality are not, so therefore they are overrated.
Overrated or underrated? Ryan Reynolds.
Who?
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Sorry. Underrated. And I'll tell you why. So I think most people know him as the comedic actor who's sort of typecast, Van Wilder, right? That's sort of what everybody defaults to with Ryan Reynolds. But very smart man, very smart businessman as well. Started Mint Mobile, There's several other businesses I'm blanking right now, but he has been very versatile in that respect, and it's very impressive, not only his acting ability, but his entrepreneurial ability as well. So Ryan Reynolds and isn't he married to Blake Lively?
You beat me to it.
Which, God bless, I mean, salute.
When
what was the college movie? Accepted that she was in. I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, who is he's married to her? Them two? Our couple.
If you didn't mention it after you finished, I'd be like, and he's married to Blake Lively. But yeah,
underrated.
There it is.
Underrated.
That's overrated, underrated.
This is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Hey, by the way, Otter will be here next hour. For Otter Locks, do we know how Otter did last night? Let me pull up my
1-1.
Pull up Let me pull up my DraftKings Sportsbook app. Thank you. Use. Don't step on the sponsor read.
I thought you were asking me.
I mean, I was loosely, but as I was saying, let me pull up I think you probably should have known where I was going there. So how did he do last night?
It went 1-1. One with the Blue Jays, lost with the Red Sox.
Oh, of course you knew that.
Yeah.
Red Sox lost.
Yeah, I thought he had the Red Sox, didn't he? Because he bet against the Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah, so he won with the Blue Jays, lost with the Red Sox.
Well, both of our teams stink.
They're terrible.
I can't allow myself to be emotionally.
Boston lost by 10 earlier today.
If you would like to bet on Otter Locks, if you'd like to bet on Major League Baseball, any football bet, of course, the DraftKings Sportsbook can help. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Remember, make a $5 NFL bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 NFL bet. They'll give you $200 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook and all throughout September. So you got 11 more days. All throughout September, every single game day, check the DraftKings Sportsbook app because they will have great specials and special props every single game day. You got to opt in, so make sure you're going to the app on football game days and check it all throughout September. It's the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers make a $5 NFL bet. They give you $200 in bonus bets instantly only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. Just kind of as a heads up what's coming up. In 15 minutes from right now, I'm not even going to ask the question. Why the Saints should add a running back, and I will tell you who I think they should sign. That's coming up in 15 minutes. And then our guy, Jake Crain, will be here in 30 minutes from right now. Don't you move. AFR.
AFR.
And then after J-Boy, we're going to have Pluckers Trivia. Muse, got bad news for you. You are not getting a single question right today.
Well, that's just not surprising at all, and I figure it's just kind of implied at this point.
Well, you know what? Blind squirrel. You never know. But if you're feeling way more confident in your abilities, get by Pluckers tonight, either location. A 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Get your team together. Test your knowledge. Win Pluckers gift cards, Amazon gift cards, other great prizes. Every Wednesday, it's trivia at both Pluckers locations. So get your team together. Remember, even if you stink at trivia and you don't win a round, every team gets to spin the prize wheel, so you'll win something. Maybe it's free food from Pluckers. Maybe it's an Amazon gift card or other great prizes from great local retailers. It's at Pluckers. 2 locations. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine and carry out or delivery at Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is. The extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, a little breaking news here. We'll get to Tigers and the Pros here in just a quick second, but first, this is broken here. Today. Saints safety Marcus May has been suspended without pay for the next 3 games for violating the NFL policy on substance abuse. So that's very likely connected to his DUI arrest. But we'll get you some more info on that, the statement from the NFL and the Saints, and then also what that means for the Saints defensively not having Marcus May for the next 3 weeks. We'll get to that after the top of the hour. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they are signing Braden Fehoko off of their practice squad. That's reported by Ian Rappaport. Fehoko signed with the Steelers in April after spending his first 3 seasons in the league with the Chargers, appearing in 19 games, credited with 36 tackles during his time with Los Angeles, now on the active roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last night, baseball action. Alex Bregman for the Houston Astros, 1 for 3 in the ball game. The one big swing in the 3rd inning, a solo shot to left field into the Crawford box. Bregman would also walk twice in a 9-5 Astros loss to the Orioles.
He hit the crap out of that.
Today, Bregman wore the collar 0 for 2 on getaway day. Alex Lang last night got charged with the loss. He's now 7-5, 6th blown save of the season. 1 inning, 3 hits, gave up the run, walked 1, and did not strike out anybody. The ERA up to 3.92 in that one. Baseball action earlier today. Aaron Nola shoved against Paulie's Atlanta Braves.
Got a shove piece?
Shove piece. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts for Aaron Nola. 94 pitches, 68 of those for strikes. Did get a no decision. That's pretty good. Did get a no decision in that ball game, though, because
Phillies.
the Phillies.
Yep.
Phillies had 4 runs on the board.
Phillies gone Philly.
Had 4 runs on the board when Aaron Nola left, and couldn't make it hold up there after that. But they ended up winning the game. Andrew Stevenson now up at the big club, Minnesota Twins, as they prepare for a playoff run. In the lineup today, played both left and center field. Went 1 for 3 in the ball game with a double, his first double since being called back up to the big leagues. And the Twins got the victory 5-3 over the Cincinnati Reds. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, as we say every day here, if you're thinking about popping the question, go where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for 40 years, where they have the best selection, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience no matter your budget. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Put a button here on hour number 2. Been a really good show so far. You miss anything, of course, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Did share some thoughts on the Greg Brooks news. Maddy Hudak was here with some film study. Went up to Green Bay to check in on the Packers with our buddy Bill Schmid. Jake Crain in about 20 minutes from right now. We'll talk some Saints when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
As we wrap up hour number 2, I want to remind you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. I was driving around today and just realized my car literally won't go where I want it to go without tires. So you got to have them. Got to have tires. Your car won't go where you want it to go. So go to Shawbill's. Buy your tires there because they're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. Why go to a membership club or a box store or another tire store that's going to overcharge you or try to sell you cheap tires? Don't do that. Go to Shawbill's. They'll sell you Bridgestone and Firestone and BF Goodrich and Michelin. You go to the website. You get the promotions tab at the top. You can see all of the great deals that they have at ShawbillsTire.com. Just hit the promotions tab. They got specific ones, or get the all promotions tab right there, and they'll tell you every single deal that they have going on. And remember, when you buy tires at Shawbill's, you always get the Charlie's Dozen. That's at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The head of the Baton Rouge Municipal Civil Service Board tells the investigative unit he's not going anywhere. It comes 24 hours after his arrest on felony charges for contractor fraud. Brandon Williams has been in trouble before. In fact, he's scheduled to go to trial at the end of this year for felony theft. Tonight, he's facing new charges of doing the same thing. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams has resigned, citing his health. Head coach Matt Eberflus will call the defense Sunday against the Chiefs. A vow today from Bears quarterback Justin Fields. He wants to return to playing like himself, free and less robotic. Includes thinking less, going out there, playing off instincts. His answer to why he's been playing too robotic could be coaching, but he did make it clear he's not blaming his coaches. No problem with Fields' honesty for Eberflus.
The meeting we had this week was good. It was good. He expresses, what he would like. I express what he's doing well, what he needs to work on, and that's always going to be the case. And it was a good conversation. I just want him to speak free. I want him to speak free to us. I want him to be honest. I want him to be forthright with what he's saying, and then, can we work through this together to get him to play free and have him have that flow.
Bears coach Matt Eberflus. Giants star running back Saquon Barkley out against the 49ers tomorrow night due to an ankle injury. Panthers quarterback Bryce Young held out of today's walkthrough with an ankle injury. The team is keeping mum on his status for Sunday's game against Seattle.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Marcus May suspended for 3 games.
Hump day.
How do they replace it?
It's hump day.
We'll find out.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
After the break.
Hump day.
Not really going to do that in a minute.
It's hump day.
Jake Crain in 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We talked to Bill Schmid last hour.
Hump day.
Got an update on the Green Bay Packers.
It's hump day.
Saints heading up to the soon-to-be frozen tundra.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Short week.
Hump day.
How do teams fare short week after Monday Night Football?
It's hump day.
Talk about that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
After the break.
Hump day.
Actually, it's coming up right now in a minute.
It's hump day.
All right, we got a lot to get to. Glad you're hanging out with us here. If you're driving home, buckle up. Turn the radio up. Thanks for being here with us. If you're watching, shout out. We appreciate everybody, as always, for making us part of your day. If you missed it there, some news earlier today, we did learn that Marcus May has been suspended for 3 games for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. So we'll get to that. He'll be eligible to return after the game against the Patriots. So he'll miss the Packers, Bucks, Patriots, and be eligible to return on October the 15th at the Texans. So more on that in a bit. The issue at hand, however, Saints are heading up to Lambeau this weekend to take on the Packers. Saints are a 2-point underdog. They're a 2-point road dog in this game, which is kind of interesting because I look at Green Bay, and it's a team that's 1-1 right now. They beat Chicago on the road 38-20. It's a bad Chicago team. But if you're a good team, that's what you should do to a bad team. You should beat them soundly, and Green Bay did. They went on the road to Chicago, close game at half, blew them out in the second half. And last week, they went on the road to Atlanta and blew a lead, and Younghoe Koo ended up kicking the game-winning field goal, and Atlanta beats Green Bay 25-24. So the Packers are 1-1. This will be their home opener. And the Saints, meanwhile, are playing their second of back-to-back road games. They're playing it on a short week. One quick note. In the last 4 seasons, teams playing on short rest after a Monday night game. So you play on Monday, obviously short rest, you got to play Sunday. Teams playing on short rest have gone 58-66 straight up the next week, and 56-68 against the spread the following week. So essentially, teams that have played on Monday Night Football the next week, on a short week, they're sub 500. They win about 47% of the games. And by the way, that doesn't count teams that have to go on the road on the short week, and even more so, teams going on the road for the second consecutive week. So road, on the road on Monday Night Football, and then on the road on the short week, which is what the Saints have to do, and I would assume those winning percentages would be even lower. So the situation, the circumstance doesn't favor the Saints, which is why they're an underdog in this ballgame. Now, Dennis Allen was met with the media via conference call on Tuesday and gave an update on Jamal Williams and, by the way, Kendre Miller, because I think this now becomes a pretty fascinating conversation. Here was Dennis Allen first updating Jamal Williams.
He's got a hamstring injury. I expect that it's going to take a little time to get him back. But we'll probably have, a little bit more update as we go throughout the week.
Okay. It's going to take some time to get him back. So we're all anticipating he's not going to play this week. We'll see if that changes. But I think judging on what Dennis Allen had to say there, you're not anticipating having Jamal Williams this week. Now, what about Kendre Miller, who went through warm-ups for Monday Night Football, but ultimately was scratched?
Probably physically he could have played. That was more a decision on my part, that a rookie player that wasn't able to fully participate in practice during the week. I just didn't feel like that was the right thing for our team to put him in the game. And so it was more a decision on my part to hold him. I expect him to be, pretty much full go this week. And, we'll see where he's at for game day. But, I would expect that there's a good chance we'll see him this week.
Okay. And one of the things that was really interesting about what Dennis Allen said is they do not plan on signing another running back this week, even with Williams being injured. So let me just sort of break this down a little bit. You come into the season and you feel pretty good about your running back room. You have Alvin Kamara, right? When he's right, still one of the best in the NFL. You have Jamal Williams, who was your sort of big-ticket offensive free agent signing. Led the NFL in rushing touchdowns a year ago. Still a young back. You bring him in from Detroit. And then you go draft Kendre Miller in round 3, potentially the heir apparent to Alvin Kamara. 3 backs that you really like a lot. For whatever it's worth, Pro Football Focus going into the season ranked the Saints running back room 15th in the NFL. A lot of people here would have thought it should have been higher, but it makes sense. Kamara's battled injuries. Jamal Williams, you could argue, was just a one-off, and he was a touchdown vulture. And what really do we know or expect for Kendre Miller, especially coming off the knee injury? So there are 2 sides to every coin, and maybe that's the argument against the Saints running back room. But at their best, you still felt good about them coming into this year. That was with Kamara, Williams, and Miller, where you were feeling good about a unit ranked 15th. Now, Kamara suspended. Williams is hurt. So you're going into this week with Kendre Miller, who has yet to play an NFL game and is coming off an injury that's caused him to miss 2 weeks, and Tony Jones Jr., who you just had to pluck off the street. The unit coming into this year that we felt good about, but Pro Football Focus said was actually just middle of the pack of the NFL. Now the top 2 guys aren't there. I don't know how much confidence I have in this group right now. Like, salute to Tony Jones in a tough spot, going in on Monday Night Football and getting his first 2 career rushing touchdowns. I hope we see Kendre Miller healthy and just balls out. That would be awesome. But I think if you're putting your roster together for this week, you have to realistically look at the potential downside. You have to assess the entirety of the situation. And what you have here, realistically, is a rookie who hasn't played, who's coming off an injury, and a free agent who was on the street a couple of weeks ago. That's it. So, yes, I do think the Saints should add a running back. I mean, just going into last week against Carolina with only Jamal Williams and Tony Jones, that felt like a pretty aggressive move. Just 2 running backs. And now you've taken away your veteran in Williams, and you've replaced him with a rookie who's going to be seeing his first game action ever, and Tony Jones. That feels mighty depleted. And for whatever it's worth, like when I look at those Pro Football Focus rankings before the season, where they had the Saints as the 15th best running back room in the NFL with Kamara, Williams, and Miller, if you're wondering the bottom of the list, like the very bottom of the list, 32, was the Rams. And that's with Cam Akers and Kyron Williams. 31 on the list was the Arizona Cardinals. If you haven't been following the Arizona Cardinals, they have James Conner. Really good story, if you remember, when he was at Pitt, in college. But they've got James Conner. Their second leading rusher right now is Joshua Dobbs. Their third leading rusher is wide receiver Hollywood Brown. Rondale Moore, wide receiver. Keontae Ingram, the other running back. And then Amari Demercado, who each have 2 yards and -2 yards, respectively. So basically, Arizona has a running back and then a quarterback and receivers running the football. 30th is Tampa Bay. Coming into the season was Tampa Bay. Again, no Leonard Fournette for Tampa Bay coming into this season. Their running back room right now has Rashad White, and then Baker Mayfield is the second leading rusher, and then Sean Tucker, who's got 13 carries for 22 yards. Chase Edmonds is down there with 4 carries for 20 yards. The Saints running back room with Kendre Miller, Tony Jones, is more reminiscent of the bottom of the NFL as opposed to anything near the middle of the top half. So yes, going into this game on the road against Green Bay with guys on the interior of that defense who in their career have been very good players, guys like Rashawn Gary, yes, I would like to see the Saints fortify the running back room before they go to Green Bay, but it doesn't sound like, based on what Dennis Allen has said, they're looking to do that. Now, we've talked about Kareem Hunt because the Saints kicked the tires on him before the season started. Well, Kareem Hunt's going back to Cleveland. Nick Chubb's injury, that makes a world of sense for Kareem Hunt. He was patient. Unfortunately, there was an injury, which there always is, and he's going to go to a better situation. We could talk about Ellis Merriweather, who was with the Saints in training camp. It was on the practice squad, kind of that, on again, off again type deal. But do you really want an undrafted rookie free agent making his first, seeing his first NFL action in this spot? Probably not. You could look at some of the bigger name free agents, and quite honestly, the biggest name free agent now that Kareem Hunt's off the board is Leonard Fournette. But is Fournette really going to sign with New Orleans when Kamara's coming back next week? Jamal Williams is going to be coming back off of injury. You still got Kendre Miller. Now Tony Jones ascends. No, that's not a great situation for Fournette. But the guy who does make sense is Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams was with the New Orleans Saints for part of training camp, played with the Saints in the preseason. He's a veteran who has been in this offense, knows the offense, and in a pinch could deliver for you on Sunday in Green Bay. the moment of just coming off the street, putting on the uniform, picking it back up in a game week wouldn't be too much for Darrell Williams. So, yes, I get it as we sit here Tuesday afternoon at 5:14, Wednesday afternoon at 5:14 Central Time. It's inopportune to think you're going to go pull somebody off the street and in. But when I look at the Saints running back room, I don't know that I'm comfortable going into this game on a hope and a prayer that Kendre Miller's healthy and Tony Jones can actually produce again. And yes, I know you got Taysom Hill, who's going to help you fortify your running back position, or your rushing offense, I should say. But what happens if Kendre Miller tweaks his hammy or Tony Jones gets concussed? Then what are you down to? It's a tough situation. So, yes, I do think the Saints should add a running back this week, even if Dennis Allen says they don't plan on it. The responsible thing to do would be add a guy who has been an NFL running back, who's been a starting NFL running back, who knows your offense, who's sitting right there waiting on your call, and who in a pinch can supplement that position for even if it's just for a week before Alvin Kamara comes back. Darrell Williams is waiting. Give him a call. All right, it's after further review. Our buddy Jake Crain joins us next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Download the Rouse's app. Remember, they've got curbside pickup and delivery options. So download the Rouse's app. Remember, if you use the curbside pickup option, if you spend over $35, it's free. Not your groceries, but using the app is free. So download the Rouse's app. Curbside pickup, just go to the app, select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick them up. You pull into one of the designated spots in the front, they bring it out to your car. If you spend over $100, which, look, you're making groceries for the week, getting your tailgate stuff together, use the code SAINTS20, that's SAINTS20, use the code SAINTS20, and they'll knock $20 off your bill. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, locally born and bred for 100 years. From Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, 60 Rouse's locations. There's one near you. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade, time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me, like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
As a matter of principle, I'd never want to call him Jake Crain. I just want to call him J-Boy. Nonetheless, the host of Crain & Company, Jake Crain, a.k.a. J-Boy, joins us now. How are you, dude?
Man, it's football season. I'm loving it. We're getting close to playoff baseball. I look at the slate this weekend, and it makes me happy.
Normally whenever I talk to you, you're in your palatial set for Crain & Company.
Yeah.
Now you're sitting on a couch with a gray wall behind you. Where are you?
It's very Soviet Union-ish. I like to come in here and just, it's kind of like my Aaron Rodgers room. I just sit in here and turn off the lights and sit in the dark and just think about what's going to happen this weekend, maybe some angles people aren't looking at. So, my wife keeps telling me I need to decorate it here. I probably do, but no, it's a very simple room. It's like those people that live in those little houses and those trees you see on the TV commercials. It's very simple, very easy.
Can we get a picture on the wall? Just something behind you?
Well, what's crazy? There's pictures everywhere else. This is no.
Turn the camera. What are you?
I actually look. In all reality, this is the last part of the house that we moved into that I need to get all set up. But no, I like to keep it simple in here. It's a very Eddie Grand style offense in here.
Hey, by the way, you know what you just did there when you went Vetti?
What?
You just did what Brian Kelly did when he said family. You just tripped on a
word.
That's
you mean famous voice actor Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I don't think that. My point is, and I've told you this before, he wasn't faking a Southern accent. He tripped on a word. Just like when you just went Vetti. You weren't using a Russian accent there, Jake. You just combined Very and Eddie, and you went Vetti. That's what you just did.
Listen, whatever conspiracy theory you want to go with.
It's not a conspiracy theory. I told you I was listening to that full halftime speech at the basketball game on the radio when it happened live, and I was like, oh, he tripped on a word. So that's just what happened, by the way.
And I also wasn't the one that Ed Orgeron called in and said he was going to put in the hole. Somebody set me up for that. So
so good. J-Boy. All right. Hey, is LSU the best team in the SEC?
Man, I think you can make a legitimate argument for it. I think with Georgia, you saw in the second half, and look, I know South Carolina's not a bunch of world beaters, but they kind of took the training wheels off Carson Beck, it seemed. Started utilizing the perimeter. I think there's so many questions that are still out there. And, I think it's fantastic for not only the SEC, but for college football. You kind of look everywhere in the country right now. There's not that one team that we look at the top and say, without a doubt, this is the best team. Everybody's going to be chasing them. Can a team develop to be able to hunt them down in the end? So, look, I think you can make an argument for LSU. I think you can make an argument for Georgia. I'm interested to see Ole Miss this weekend. Not that I think they could be the best team in the SEC, but I want to see how Alabama bounces back with Jalen Milroe at quarterback, and if they're going to, stop being so damn stubborn and tailor the offense to his strengths, because I do think he can be an effective player.
Did the rest? I think I know the answer, but I'm curious your answer. Is the SEC bad, or did the rest of college football catch up?
I think whenever we dissect things like this, it's always multiple things, right? The SEC to me isn't bad. There's too many quality players. The NFL draft is still going to be dominated by the Southeastern Conference this year. What I think we're seeing is somewhat of an anomaly when you look at some of the turnover at very important positions, and not just at quarterback. In the SEC, you look at a lot of offensive lines are having to be rebuilt and replace teams. But I do think we talked about, and it's true, two things can be true at one time. The transfer portal has made the rich richer. I think we can say that. But on the other hand, I think it has helped a lot of other teams in specific places be able to plug holes in the boat and have experience come in that have allowed them to kind of come up a little bit, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. I think we're kind of seeing that effect because of the transfer portal. But you mix the changeover at quarterback at pretty much all the top dogs. One of the reasons why I had LSU and still do winning the SEC this year was because of the continuity that they returned at important positions and on the coaching staff. So, no, I don't think the SEC's bad. I think the Pac-12, in the greatest stroke of irony of all time, returned a lot of really talented players as they're dissolving in front of our eyes like a Dorian Gray painting. So, no, I think it's a combination of things. But the transfer portal, the positive side effect has been, I think it's raised the floor on a lot of teams.
At Jake Crain _ on X or Twitter, however you want to get him there, is Florida good or does Tennessee stink?
Well, look, coming into this year, I think Graham Mertz has played better than what I thought he was going to play, honestly. I thought he played better against Utah than a lot of people were giving him credit for. If you looked, I mean, Florida was as one-dimensional as it gets in that game. They outgained Utah. They made bad mistakes in very important times. And Utah won that game. Make no mistake. Teams typically lose games. They don't win them at this level or at most levels. I don't think a lot of people really understand that. But when I look at Florida compared to Tennessee, I don't think that was all on Joe Milton against Florida. I don't think he played horrible. I was more surprised that Tennessee's defense got pushed around in the front seven the way they did in the run game than anything. Now, a little bit of that had to do with Florida starting to go more north and south as compared to east and west like they did against Utah. But I think it shows that Florida probably isn't as bad is what everybody thought. And Tennessee, a lot of people had Joe Milton's going to win the Heisman. Joe Milton he's going to be the SEC Player of the Year. That's great if I want to see if you can hit a golf cart from 90 yards away at the Manning Passing Academy. Not that he was awful against Florida. He's just not good enough to be this high-level, high-profile guy that can make up for other parts of the team not playing well, like Hendon did at points last year.
Hey, but that is really impressive when you hit the golf cart from 90. Hey, do you remember?
No, it's great. That's great. But like, can you throw a slant? Can you throw a hitch?
Did you watch? Do you remember, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, ESPN had that like mini series. It was like a dramatic series about an NFL team, Playmakers. Is that what it was called? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I recollect that a little bit.
There was an episode where there was like the superstar quarterback. And the quarterback coach, who was a crummy quarterback in his day, was trying to teach the quarterback a lesson, and he had to throw the ball to a golf cart like 50 yards away. And the crummy quarterback coach just threw it like 5 yards to the golf cart, who then just drove past the other guy's ball. That was a lesson. That was a lesson he learned. See? Sometimes take the check down. It'll go farther. You don't have to hit the golf cart 90 yards.
Look, you never go broke making a profit.
How in the world did I remember that stupid
I don't know. You got a great man. For some reason, when you talked about that, I just thought about Andy Reid looking 30 years old in that punt, pass, and kick contest he won in like 1974, where he was like that 12-year-old that was just like as big as your dad and had a mustache.
He's Danny Almonte. Wait, that kid's 12? No way.
Yeah. No, Danny Almonte was really 32. That was the problem.
he had a wife and a kid.
That's exactly right.
All right, Jake Crane's with us for a couple more minutes. Give me a thought on Ole Miss Bama this weekend, man. Like, is Ole Miss going to go into Tuscaloosa and do this?
Well, look, it's time for Lane Kiffin, right? All jokes aside on social media, Ole Miss hasn't played in an SEC championship game. They split the title in 2003 with David Cutcliffe, a year that LSU went and played Georgia in the SEC championship. I know you guys haven't forgotten that. But they have as good of a chance as ever to not only beat Bama, but I think they have a chance to win the division. When you look around the rest of it, you get LSU at home, you get A&M at home, you get Arkansas at home. You got to go to Auburn, right? To Mississippi State, who I know it's the Egg Bowl, crazy things happen. But when I look at this matchup, I do question. I know Ole Miss is beat up, but I think Alabama at some point is going to figure it out. Not saying they're going to be elite, but at some point that they are going to make the adjustments where they put Jalen Milroe in good spots. Now, That's not going to help the front seven get a pass rush. Quinn Ewers left that Bryant Denny as clean with a clean of a jersey as the one he had when he walked in on. But the part that concerns me for Ole Miss is Tulane punked them up front.
That's
the only
true.
thing that was missing was Ashton Kutcher and a bunch of kids running around with cameras, letting them know that hey, it's a trick, it's a joke. Here comes Ole Miss's real offensive line. We've been dribbling with our left this whole time. I do think they've got as good as a chance as ever. Lane's going to be ready. He's going to have a great plan. Part of me just struggles trusting Jackson Dart. I mean, he looks like somebody put the hand of Sauron on him, like the orc from Lord of the Rings, like his stuff on his face. I just have trouble trusting that. And he struggles to see intermediate defenders in the passing game. That's what worries me.
Never saw Lord of the Rings.
You never saw Lord of the Rings?
None of it, ever. None of it. Zero.
I'm not mad. I'm just actually disappointed.
Not a minute. You know what? I'm unmoved by your disappointment. I'm actually disappointed in you for wasting that many hours of your life watching that. How about that? I turned it around on you.
Well, I don't know if you did. I just again. All right, hey, FBI, here he is. We found him. Here he is, right here.
Because I never watched Lord of the Rings. Forgive me. I was out here living my life. Hey, is LSU's an 18-point favorite over Arkansas? We've talked. I don't know how much of a story this is outside of maybe these two programs, but it's always a thing about how Arkansas cares way more about this game than LSU and where it always fell on the schedule. That stupid Friday after Thanksgiving at 1:30. And when LSU finally got its way and got that game moved off the schedule, they moved Arkansas to the week after Bama. So LSU was always on a letdown. Now here we are in the middle of September, end of September, wondering how it's going to look like emotionally. What are your thoughts outside looking in on LSU-Arkansas this weekend?
Just from a rivalry standpoint, it makes sense being that they're the two, state schools without really a big legitimate rival within the same state, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
LSU, I don't want to disrespect Tulane or Louisiana Tech or, SCLSU, but I mean, LSU runs that state.
Let's go Bulldogs!
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Go get the helmet. Get the helmet. Get the Mud Dogs helmet.
Yeah. But look, I think when it comes to Arkansas, LSU, at the end of the day, when you look at rivalries, in Arkansas, nothing really jumps out at me, and I'm like, yeah, they should definitely hate each other. I know you play for the boot or whatever it is, and this is one of the rivalries people were worried about being lost with the new format in the SEC. But I think LSU's just won more than Arkansas has, and it's nice to have a rival that you can feel on the same par with. Even though you haven't won what they've won. But look, it's a huge game as far as the game goes. If Rocket Sanders, I don't know if it's came out yet. I doubt he's playing. I've heard that there's a lot of doubt that he's playing. And if he doesn't play, then I want to put all the money I have and buy that down to 17 in case we have to get a push there. But I like LSU big in this game. I like the under in this game. I got it at 56.5. When it came out on the sharp. So I like LSU big. I'm glad they listened, Matt. Nothing shocked me more than coming out and watching LSU against Florida State revert back to early 2022 LSU, not attacking the deep third of the field, not being multi-dimensional on offense, which opens everything else up. I was shocked to see that. I'm glad they figured it out. Now, Mississippi State may be terrible, but I don't think Arkansas is going to be able to slow them down. And if Jaden's out there dropping dots like that, it's a Dippin' Dot situation. What do you want? Vanilla, chocolate, caramel? Just put your hands out, close your eyes. I promise it'll work out.
You just kind of combined caramel and caramel. You said caramel.
You know what? At what point are you going to stop talking about me getting these words wrong, Matt?
I don't know if you're getting it wrong. I'm just curious. Like, my hand is in the air. Okay. I'm a dork. I'm a grammaticist, like grammar and stuff like that.
You're a dork, but you haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Why don't you lie to me again?
Aren't there different levels of that, of the things that you care about? I'm a whiskey nerd as well. I know a lot about brown water in bottles. That kind of makes me a nerd. We're all nerds about certain things, right? I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't do cosplay and go to Renfest like T-Bob with a sword and a cape.
Okay, yeah, I'm not showing up trying to fight Kylo Ren or anything like that. At Comic-Con or something. I just like the movies. I just watched the movie. It's on. I'll watch it. Do I want to watch the Seven Armies throw hands? Of course I do. Gandalf the White, Gandalf the Gray. Who cares? It's Gandalf. Go buy some fireworks and shut up.
Don't know what any of that means. He's Jake Crain, host of Crain and Company every weekday. Subscribe up to the YouTube channel. Follow him on Twitter at @JakeCrain_. Put some pictures on your wall, bro. Come on, man.
Say that again, Maddy. I couldn't hear you.
I was on the outro, and then I just said, put some pictures on your wall.
Look, I'm all about a good outro, man.
All right. We'll see you later. Thanks for the time.
Hey, Matt, it's always fun talking with you. I'm so glad you're a Braves fan now, and that you can root us on in the playoffs because we need all the help we can get. And I want to end you with this.
Okay.
One ring to rule them all, and the darkness shall bind them.
Get him off the screen. Get him off the screen. He needs to go with T-Bob. All right, that is Jake Crain. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Traction. TractionSports.com. TractionSports.com. Oh, man. That was Lord of the Rings there at the end. Muse, have you seen that?
I've seen like the first one, but yeah, that was Lord of the Rings.
Oh, you haven't seen it? So you haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Paulie, have you seen Lord of the Rings?
I have not seen any Lord of the Rings.
Paul is okay. So thank you. Wait, is he still there? Bring him back in. He's still there. Bring him back in. Bring him back in real quick. He heard you say that. Hold on. Bring him back in. Hey, so Muse has seen one. Paulie has seen none. So among the three of us, how many Lord of the Rings movies are there?
See, here's the thing. I don't know how many there are. I've just seen like pretty much all of them.
No.
Like, how have you not seen Lord of the Rings? Did y'all watch Harry Potter?
No,
Please say no.
Zero. No. I've never seen a Harry Potter.
You didn't watch Harry Potter?
You just said please say no. No, what you think I'm watching Harry Potter? The last time I went to the movies was 2014, Jake. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, man.
What?
Do you watch any movies? Like,
no.
what do you watch? Like, you just watch The Natural over and over again or something?
I watch live sports and I work and I spend time with my family. That's my life. I'm telling you, I'm not super diverse here. What?
This is shocking. I'm legitimately shocked. I'm legitimately shocked.
Take a poll on your show tomorrow.
I will.
And we'll see. You can chastise me. I'll look forward to it. And we'll extend the convo.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But, hey, man, I really need y'all to cover this weekend. So, please, Giants, help us.
All right, we'll see. I really got to go now. That's Jake Crain. This is After Further Review. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Fall is here, y'all. Every morning when I wake up now to go to the gym, I am getting up early and go to the gym at like 5:30, and I'm walking outside, and there's this cool, crisp feeling in the air. Like fall is almost here. It's a great time to get out and just plant something. Like I tell you all the time, they got great fall bedding plants to add that pop of fall color, the earth tones, right? The oranges and the yellows and the browns and the greens to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Awesome this time of year. And remember, of course, Clegg's has all the fall decor as well for fall and for Halloween, from pumpkins and hay bales and squash and gourds and corn stalks and scarecrows. And you want to put all of that and have a beautiful display on your porch or your patio or inside your home somewhere or your office. They got it at Clegg's Nursery. So get to the Clegg's nearest you. And remember, they're also partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right. Trivia night. Hit it, Muse. That was a weird transition.
Well, it's coming out of the same spot there. I wasn't ready for the double time there.
All right, we'll get to Otter Locks shortly. We got to move quickly. Bill Schmid went long, along with Jake Crain. I just went long with our guest today. I don't normally do that, but we kind of pinched us here at the end. Apologies. All right, it's Trivia Night at Plucker, so you know the drill. We give you a little sampling of how trivia will go. 3 questions for Muse. These are questions from the pool of questions for Plucker's Trivia. All right, Muse. Yeah, Muse. We'll see. We'll see.
Hit me. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Can't wait.
In which country would you find the city of Dresden?
Is that in... okay, so it's Europe. Dresden... Is Dresden in... Dresden's in Australia?
No. Brisbane is in Australia.
That's true, it is. So is Sydney.
Dresden is in Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't even on the same continent.
No, I didn't think it was Europe. So I didn't know. Yeah, didn't go there.
Number 2. A major tributary of the Mississippi River. This river flows through Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
It's the Red River.
It is not the Red River.
Oh.
It is the Arkansas River.
Ah.
Okay, Muse, of the 3, this is the one I would have put you having the least probability of getting. The first 2 I thought, hell, throw a dart, you might get it. This one I would just be fall over stunned. In a new proposed expansion across Disneyland Drive, The Mouse has suggested possibly bringing back which relaxing ride that opened in 1967, allowing guests to ride high above Tomorrowland, going around and inside the land's attractions. Hint: today the ride's tracks lie dormant above Tomorrowland, and the ride's twin in Disney World's Magic Kingdom Park is still operational.
Good Lord, that's a long question.
It came with a hint.
Not a helpful one. I'm not going to lie. The question was so long, I checked out.
In a new proposed expansion across Disneyland Drive, the Mouse has suggested possibly bringing back which relaxing ride that opened in 1967, allowing guests to ride high above Tomorrowland, going around and inside the land's attractions.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just give yourself. Just give yourself the buzzer.
I don't even have a guess.
It would be the People Mover.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yep. Disney trivia next week.
They need to come up with a better name than People Mover. That's dumb.
I do feel like it's obligatory now every week. I remind everybody, parents, send your kids to Catholic High.
That has nothing to do with this.
That's everything to do
You
with
don't
this.
learn that in high school.
All of your teachers would be so embarrassed at your inability to get anything right.
I don't think they would.
Week in and week out, you get nothing right on this. I'm stunned. I'm going to start asking Paul the questions.
Okay.
How would you feel about it, Paul? You want to answer any of these questions?
I can help out, but I would have got none of those today.
Sam, the People Mover.
You know what else moves people?
What?
A car from South Point Volkswagen.
Sure does.
Gonna get a ding or something like that? Something good? It's round of applause. A rim shot. Radio Muse. You got lots of buttons over there. Use them. South Point Volkswagen. Hey, you know what else moves people? A car from South Point Volkswagen. Go test drive one today. Airline just north of Highland. SouthPointVW.com. You can search the inventory online or get your financing online. Remember, if you're in Southwest Louisiana, they've got Southwest Volkswagen in Lafayette as well to serve you. So Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Always great specials. How about $7,500 off the all-new ID4? The all-electric SUV for everyone. Check it out at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Check their specials and the great offers that they have going on right now. All the inventory, if it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right. Really good show today. We appreciate you for being here. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. You go book your tee time there. Just of note, since we've been on air, you probably noticed, or maybe some of you just knocking off work haven't heard, Marcus May, Saints safety, popped for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He's out 3 games. So you remember when not Blake Groupie, who was who got popped for PEDs?
Jake Hayner.
Hayner, thank you. Because I compared him to Groupie. Jake Hayner, PEDs, doesn't really make sense. Marcus May, PEDs, okay. Swole up safety, throwing elbows and dropping bombs on people in the secondary. That makes more sense, doesn't it? That makes more sense, doesn't it? A little more appropriate?
Yes and no, but I mean, he's not that big of a guy.
Okay, we'll do Otter Locks to wrap up the show next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 hour air where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. That's where you'll find them online. Remember, if your Home Central AC isn't keeping up, always recommend you call our friends at River City's 1 hour air. They do amazing work over there, and you're always going to get an exceptional customer service experience. I love sharing the 5-star Google reviews because there's so many, and it's so relatable for people who have ever called a technician or any type of contractor out to the house. How about this one from Leslie Miller Danzy, 5-star review, said Joseph, the technician, communicated what he was doing and what my AC needs were very effectively. He was professional and knowledgeable. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 hour air. If your AC isn't keeping up, if you got any trouble whatsoever, call River City's 1 hour air. You see the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side all over town because they treat people great. They do exceptional work. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. Just doing a little research, watching games over here at the Queen. So,
I love it, man.
A lot of day action, man. 8 games, so most of the games are out the way. Now, look, one that just started at 5:40. Check the end game on Tampa Bay. They're
minus 110.
Yeah, let's go with that. They should be a lot of scoring. Again, down 2-0, but first inning, we'll go with the Tampa Bay end game. And basically pick them.
Okay.
Not broken. Easy routine winner first last night, or the Toronto. Let's go right back with it. Gosman. Yankees pitcher tonight, he's been throwing okay. He's not bad, but Gosman and those bats, the highest slugging percentage in Yankee Stadium for Vladimir Guerrero since Babe Ruth. They like that part. Give us Toronto in that one. And I got a little money line parlay. I'm going to go with the Cubbies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Should play pretty good tonight.
Wow. Linking up the Cubs and the Cards on the money line.
Seal outlier. Look, it was neck and neck for NL Cy Young before Blake Snell for 7 innings and no-hit ball last night. But he'll bounce back tonight. They need it. They are pretty much lose all the tiebreakers. But Cubbies, and we're going to hook them up because 7.5, that tells you the wind's blowing in. So we don't want to go crazy. And St. Louis, Thompson's been pretty hot. So coming back a little money there.
Yeah, it looks like plus 211 is what I got at DraftKings. So Cubs Cardinals money line parlay there plus 211. Also Tampa Bay in game minus 110 is what I'm looking at right now at DraftKings, and the Blue Jays minus 118 at the Yankees.
And it looks like we snuck in that hook just in time. It's down to 3. I think it might go down more. Ohio State, Notre Dame. So if you got down on that yesterday, you got a favorable price.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Jolie Pearl, Town Square Pizza, right next to each other. So pizza, oysters, Shanny goes back and forth. Hey, calm down, little fella. We got all day. We're gonna get you.
That poor guy.
That's my brother, man.
I know, but everybody else doesn't know that. All right, Otter, have a great show tomorrow, man. Good luck tonight. We appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, man, be well. That is Jimmy Ott. Of course, you can catch Jimmy Ott weekdays here in Baton Rouge with Charles Hannegriff from 11 to 1 on Live at Lunch. All right, we're coming down the home stretch. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. We had Maddy Hudak here in hour number 1. Bill Schmid, who covers the Green Bay Packers, was here in hour number 2. And Jake Crain pinch hitting earlier today for Russ Mitchell, earlier this hour, I should say, here in hour number 3. You miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. All right, really good show. Looking forward to Thursday. Thursdays are so jam-packed, man. Ryan Clark will be here. We'll do our Fantasy Blitz. Mike Triplett will be here talking some New Orleans Saints. We'll give you our what to watch for the football weekend. Muse Paulie and I were talking about it in the last break. Really hate Tuesdays and Wednesdays now. Got football every night of the week except Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You go home, it's like, what are you going to do? I don't know, watch Lord of the Rings maybe? All right, Muse Paulie, y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Great people that have really helped change my life and helped change the way I feel every single day, and they've done that for thousands of Baton Rougeans, both men and women, but not just in Baton Rouge, of course, in Lafayette as well. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge near Perkins, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Check them out online at theantiagingclinics.com. You know, one of the things I remember having this conversation with Kirk over at Aesthetic years ago, you know, there's so many aesthetic procedures that they do, from Botox and hydrofacials and UltraShape, VeloShape, the things you hear me talk about all the time. And so often people will go in for hormone replacement therapy. It's the thing that is the hook for so many people. It helps you feel better again. And once you start feeling good again, you start to look around and go, what else do you do? It's the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new 2023 Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.